So hey there YouTube, it's Saul here again today with another video. Today I'm gonna be responding to Venting for Vengeance. Fantastic Four is woke and feminist trash. So I watched Fantastic Four 2 weeks ago. I thought it was a pretty solid movie. I think it did the Fantastic Four, well. It's a good depiction of the Fantastic Four. It's a pretty solid, superhero movie all around. I have some issues with it. When it comes to characters like, the teen. I think the teen was underutilized throughout the entire movie. I wish we got more from him, because the other three members, have much more to do, and I think the teen gets left behind. So I wish they utilized him more in the movie. And also, I thought Galactus was kind of a lackluster villain in the ending. He felt kind of underwhelming. I think it was intimidating in the beginning. By the end, when they're all fighting him, he kind of feels underwhelming as the main antagonist. But those are just some of my issues. This was a good movie. It helped reignite my interest in Marvel again. Yeah, let's jump right into this video by Ranting for Vengeance. I've responded to this guy before. What you need to know about him is that, he's like one of these anti-woke grifters, like Geeks and Gamers, Nerdwatic, and Heroes vs. Babyface. He's one of those YouTubers. But I think personally that he's way worse than them, because the stuff that comes out of this guy's mouth is on a completely different level.
When you say I'm scared of black people, newsflash, you illiterate troglodyte. Everybody is.
The best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Just get the fuck away.
You can't stop looting and burning countries to the ground. Next time you're driving to work and you're enjoying your Marxist Batman comic, try not to get robbed or shot by your fellow brothers.
What makes this more messed up is that Ranting for Vengeance is 15 years old. Yeah, this kid is 15 years old and he's making a bunch of this crap on the internet. Oh my god. With that out of the way, let's jump into this video.
So there's some great news. Fantastic Four is not nearly as bad as Superman.
So I haven't watched Superman, but from what I've heard online, it was well received. It was critically acclaimed. Everyone thinks they did the justice to Superman as a character after what Snyder did to him in the in the DCEU. So yeah, Superman is pretty critically acclaimed. From what I've seen, Fantastic Four is a pretty solid movie. It does the members of the Fantastic Four well, and it tells a pretty good superhero story.
But actually, it's the most insufferable feminist piece of shit you could ever watch.
I'm gay.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Okay, what the freaking hell was that clip? Like, literally, what am I supposed to be laughing at? So some guy is, tasting food from his fingers, and that somehow makes him gay? I don't get the joke. Like, really, can someone explain to me what the joke is in that clip?
I'll do the usual bullcrap. This isn't rage bait. This isn't me overreacting. This isn't me lying to you about the movie.
Yeah, I somehow doubt that based on all the content you create, just like the other anti-woke grifters. You guys make clicks off of rage bait. That's your whole guy's motto. So yeah, I doubt you on that.
In fact, it's the opposite, because I'm going to tell you what this movie actually was. And spoiler alert, it's the most fucking feminist movie that Hollywood has ever made.
I think you're talking about Barbie. I think Barbie is the most feminist movie Hollywood has ever made in modern times. But I don't know what's feminist about this movie. Like, literally, maybe you could argue that when Sue Storm makes a speech to the people in New York and tries to calm them down and regain their trust, because they're like up in arms about Galactus trying to invade the planet, and so she tries to reason with them, and she gives like this empowering speech to them. I wouldn't call that feminism, because feminism never came up in that entire speech. I don't see how this is a feminist movie, other than using these guys' brains, using these guys' logic. A female character is in the main cast, and she's a strong character. Just using these guys' logic, that's the argument here.
Everything that Vanessa Kirby was saying before this came out is the truth. She's the leader, she's the front and center, but we're gonna get onto that in a second.
So from what I've read, it seems that, it really depends on the situation. Reed Richards can be the leader in certain situations, while Sue Storm is the leader in other situations, because both of them are like the adults of the team. They're the ones who take charge since they're more mature than, Ben Grimm and, Johnny Storm, who are like the children, in the group. So they're the ones that take charge most of the time, because they're more mature than the other two. When watching this movie, I thought both of them were like the co-leaders of the group. Reed took charge when he was trying to figure out how to defeat Galactus, because that was his area of expertise. And then, Sue took charge, in the final battle when directing the team to help her take down Galactus, because that was like her area of expertise. So like, I would argue that both of them are like the co-leaders of the group. Like, not one is, outshines the other. Like, both of them are the co-leaders, and they take charge depending on the situation.
Very quickly, if you do want to help out the channel, maybe consider subscribing, supporting me on Twitter or Patreon.
No, please, I beg of you guys, do not support this guy, do not support this kid, alright? Otherwise he's just gonna make more of this crap content, and I would like if YouTube had less of this stuff, alright? And also, I think it will give this kid a reality check, alright?
So last night I watched Fantastic Four First Steps, the same way I watched Superman, keeping true to the wallet's closed motto. Don't go to the cinema, do not give these people your money. Fantastic Four First Steps is as insufferable as Superman. I still stand by what I said. Superman was one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and I've seen movies from all different time periods, countries, genres, and a lot that you have not even heard of.
Yeah, I somehow doubt that. What he's saying here comes off as incredibly pretentious, and even if it's true, what does that prove, alright? Like, what does that prove? You still make crap content and you don't know how to actually review films. The only way this guy knows how to review films is by using a lot of bigoted language to appease his bigoted audience. Like, that's the only way this guy knows how to review films. So yeah, let's talk about him watching films from all over the world and for different time periods we never heard of. It doesn't prove jack shit, alright?
So do not come in here and try to attack me. And Fantastic Four is not nearly as bad, I'll tell you the truth, but there is a lot of wokeness.
That's what I like about you. Predictable.
And I don't really give a rat's ass about spoilers, so if you do, then you're miserable and you shouldn't really be watching this video. And for those of you who are ready to witness what Fantastic Four First Steps really was, I salute you, because sometimes it gets so cringe you feel like you're literally about to die.
I think I only found like one moment in the movie that made me cringe, and that was during the chase scene in space, when the Fantastic Four were trying to escape the Silver Surfer. During that chase, Sue Storm was giving birth to her son Franklin, so she was going into labor and she was going to give birth to her son Franklin. I found that kind of cringe. I know they were trying to like build tension. The baby is gonna be born, and while the Fantastic Four are like being chased by Silver Surfer. I guess they were trying to like create tension there, but like it kind of made me cringe, that whole scene. But that's the only moment in the movie I cringed. Everything else was fine.
Everything from every Marvel movie that was bad. Weird gayness, obnoxious Marvel humor, radical feminism. And then there's The Thing, which I'll get into a second, or maybe I might not, because that rant is something that a lot of people aren't really ready for.
Trust me guys, in this part he's not lying. You are not ready for his rant about The Thing.
So from the opening scene of this movie, you know what it's gonna be. You think it's a superhero movie. It's gonna be like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. No, it opens with Pedro Pascal in a wife beater, walking around looking for his shirt or something. And with the homo Freddie Mercury mustache and the brown skin, he looks like he's walking around looking for his taco or his boyfriend.
I wasn't lying. A lot of racism, mainly directed at Pedro Pascal. He also mentions Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, and when it comes to the openings of these two movies, they're kind of similar, because it's showing the main characters, being down to earth, even though they're superheroes with all these incredible powers and they fight like these insane threats on a daily basis. It shows that they're down to earth individuals. They deal with everyday problems like the average citizen.
Also, a quick little note about Pedro Pascal in this movie. I don't know what the hell is going on with the continuity, but the guy is changing every every single scene. One scene, he looks like he's a 300-pound Mexican gardener who needs to get sent back over the border by ICE.
Yay! More tasteless racism and xenophobia. Also, Pedro Pascal is Chilean. If you wanted to know vengeance, he's Chilean.
And the next, he's really skinny and weak looking, like some skeleton who didn't get his taco in time. And speaking of that, I know the Fantastic Four are supposed to age when they come back from that first trip, but the footage of the team on the TV before they went up to that first trip is really retarded. So it shows you the footage. Sue has her usual bitch face on. The thing is, they're looking all Jewish, and that's his entire character. That's the rant we're gonna get to in a second, or maybe I might not even talk about it, because it's really extreme.
You know, maybe you're not so bad after all.
But it's the truth. I know the Thing is a Jewish character, and Jack Kirby was Jewish, and it was intended that way, but this movie amps it up to 11.
Never mind.
Amps it up to 11, like how? Looking all Jewish. Oh my god. Flip, oh my brain is slowly melting from listening to this guy. Yeah, I told you this guy was way worse than other grifters because he's way more blatant than the rest of them. Like, he will just, like, he has no filter between his brain and his mouth. He just, like, is so blatant with his bigotry. And yeah, if Jack Kirby saw you, he'll be crying and screaming and be running away from you because he would be absolutely grossed out that a person like you is a self-proclaimed fan of his work.
Every scene with the Thing, he has no personality, he has no love interest or friends or anything. The dude is just some one-dimensional character whose entire personality trait is, hey look, I'm Jewish. Walking around a New York neighborhood and oh wait, look in the background, there's synagogues and Stars of David everywhere.
What are you talking about? Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. So, yeah, the Thing does have friends. It's the Fantastic Four. They're basically his family. He spends most of his time with them. He helps them out a lot throughout the movie. He helps them with trying to, you know, take down Galactus and make sure he doesn't consume the Earth. Yeah, he literally has a love interest. I can't remember her name. I have her name on screen now, but he has this love interest. She's like the school teacher. He interacts with her like 2 times. Like, the first time he meets her by the school, he like picks up a car and he's showboating to the kids. And they like have a small chat. Then he like meets her again in the church, you know, when, you know, people are like trying to find shelter and refuge because Galactus is, you know, on his way to destroy the Earth. And, you know, he speaks to her and he tries to comfort her in the church. So yeah, he does have a love interest, but I wish they had more scenes with each other again. The Teen is kind of underutilized in this movie, so I wish that he had more scenes with his love interests. And the Teen does have a personality, man. Like, rewatch the movie. He's a light-hearted individual, even though he still desires to be human again. Even though he's a superhero and he's loved by the people, you can see that he still is awkward around people in public, and he has that desire. Like, there's this one moment in the movie, it's even in the trailers, where he looks at the TV screen and he sees himself before the space accident, and you can tell that he still desires his former life. Yeah, I think the Teen is underutilized in this movie. I wish we got more scenes with him and his love interest. But other than that, he's still a well-rounded character in the movie.
But anyways, we'll move on before that gets a little bit too risky. Johnny shows up in this footage looking really gay with his lipstick and his bleached blonde hair. Flaming gay Johnny Storm is the highlight of this movie.
Yes, he actually is. He actually is. That's something you actually get right. That he actually gets right there. Johnny Storm is like the MVP of this movie.
And I mean that in every way. The guy is nearly the only guy that you can root for, and then at the same time, he's pulling the most spasticated, handicapped, retard faces in every single scene. No, that's not an over-exaggeration. It's not a joke. This is the first scene of the movie where they're all sitting down to have family dinner. The Thing tastes some sauce or food he's making like a normal person. Johnny then walks into the room, tries to taste it, and instead shoves his 2 fingers into his mouth.
Nice.
And with the face that he pulls here, God knows what else this guy is putting in his mouth.
So blatant homophobia, and I am so lost. I am so dumbfounded. What is wrong with the scene? Like, literally, he's tasting sauce with his fingers. everyone has different ways of tasting food with their fingers.
I was talking with somebody and they said that David Corn Sweat might have actually been a better Mr. Fantastic. He would have looked a lot more like Reed Richards, and the guy's really nerdy in real life, so he probably would have fitted the role.
You actually interact with people? That's news to me, man. But going back to what he said here, yeah, I can see David Corn Sweat as, Superman. He kind of looks like him. Maybe just give him, white hair on the sides, and yeah. But I still think Pedro Pascal did a good job, even though, he doesn't look anything like Mr. Fantastic. I think he still acted out the part well. The other issue I did have with the character is that we don't really see him, utilize his stretching ability to its full potential. You can just chalk that up to, budgeting, but I still feel that aspect of him was underutilized. Other than that, I think how they portrayed his intelligence was done well. So yeah, I think Pedro Pascal did a good job, even though he doesn't look anything like Mr. Fantastic.
Instead, we got this homo hombre who's just crying for the entire movie. And I'm not joking, in certain shots he's really skinny, in other shots his head is the size of the room, and in other shots he's wearing eyeliner or something and looking extremely gay. And there's many scenes that are like that throughout the entire movie, where Flaming Johnny Storm and Gager Pascal start hugging each other and grabbing each other by the necks and looking deeply into each other's eyes. I'm just gonna put some screenshots up on the screen right now and just some clips so you can see what I'm talking about.
I take back every single bad thing I've been saying about you. You are gonna be the best dad. Just kidding. You are out of your depth.
So both of them hugging each other is bad and cringe, because hugging each other means they're gay. Okay, I'm freaking done with this review. Like, I'm only a few minutes in with this review, and I'm clicking off because there's nothing of value being shown here. It's just utter bigotry and absolute abysmal analysis of this movie. Like, there's no substance to work with. He just makes nonsensical gibberish up every moment, and my brain is slowly melting from watching this crap. But yeah, that's my reaction for today. You know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified on my latest uploads. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, YouTube.